Let me ask you something. Think about the last time you said no to someone. Not a big dramatic no, just a normal one. Did it come out clean? Or did it immediately trigger something inside you? Because for a lot of people, no is never just one word. It turns into a paragraph, then another one, then a follow-up clarification. You explain why you're busy. You list your schedule like evidence in a courtroom. You apologize once, twice, maybe 3 times. You mention work, or family, or your health. You soften it. You justify it. You overqualify it. And when you finally send the message, something strange happens. You don't feel relief. You feel drained. Your chest feels tight. Your mind starts replaying the conversation. Did I sound rude? Did they believe me? Are they annoyed? Did I mess something up? And what's ironic is this. You said no, but your body feels like you just begged. If this sounds familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not weak, you're not broken, and you're not bad at communication. But depending on how your brain was shaped, you may be doing this for very different reasons. For some people, over-explaining comes from how they process information. If you have an ADHD or autistic brain, details don't feel excessive, they feel necessary. Your mind works bottom up. You build truth from the ground level. Details feel like accuracy. Context feels like honesty. When you explain thoroughly, you're not asking for permission. You're trying to be precise. That's not a flaw. That's a cognitive style. But for many others, the reason is much heavier and much quieter. It comes from a trauma response most people never talk about. Fight, flight, freeze. And the fourth one, fawn. Fawning is what happens when you learn, early in life, that being agreeable keeps you safe. That conflict is dangerous. That disappointment leads to rejection. That anger from others means you did something wrong, so your nervous system adapts. It learns to soothe others before they get upset. When you over-explain from this place, you're not sharing information. You're sending a signal. Please don't be mad at me. Please understand. Please see that I'm still a good person. You're not communicating. You're asking for permission to exist with boundaries. And here's the part most people never realize. Every time you do that, your nervous system believes the lie. It learns that your needs are negotiable, that your time is flexible, that your energy belongs to other people first. And slowly, quietly, you start disappearing from your own life. So today, we're not just talking about communication. We're talking about power, because there's a hard truth here. It feels backwards, but it's real. The more you explain yourself, the less you are respected. Not because people are evil, but because human psychology runs on signals. There are 2 forces at work here. The first is status signaling. In every social dynamic, the person with higher internal authority explains less. They don't rush to justify. They don't narrate their inner world. They state decisions, and they move on. Not because they're cold, but because they trust themselves. When you over-explain without being asked, you send an unconscious message. My decisions need approval. My no is negotiable. My time is not really mine. The second force is the scarcity principle. Human beings value what is scarce: time, energy, access. If you're always available, always flexible, always explaining, your energy becomes common, predictable, cheap. Not because you are worthless, but because you're teaching people how to treat you. There's a sentence that captures this perfectly. You stop being available and the world suddenly sees you differently. This isn't manipulation. It's self-respect. And self-respect changes how people feel around you. Now, here's where most kind, empathetic people get stuck. They think, if I stop explaining, I'll become selfish. I'll hurt people. I'll seem cold or arrogant. So let's clear this up. There's a difference between sharing and defending. If you're excited about something and you go into detail, that's not a problem. That's expression. That's joy. That's connection. But if you're explaining because you're afraid of someone's reaction, that's not communication. That's self-abandonment. And it slowly teaches your nervous system that peace comes from disappearing. What you need instead is something that sounds uncomfortable at first. Strategic selfishness. Not cruelty. Not arrogance. Preservation. Think about the oxygen mask rule on an airplane. You secure your own mask first. Not because you don't care about others, but because if you collapse, you help no one. Your energy works the same way. Every time you cancel rest, every time you ignore your limits, every time you over-explain to keep someone comfortable, you're teaching your brain one thing: I don't matter. And self-respect is nothing more than the reputation you have with yourself. So let's get practical. because knowing this doesn't stop the habit. Your body still panics in the moment. So I want to give you one framework. It's used in recovery circles, boundary work, and trauma therapy. 4 letters. J.A.D.E. Justify. Argue. Defend. Explain. When you set a boundary, your job is to avoid all 4. The moment you justify or explain, you open a door, and people walk through it. You say, "I can't come because I have so much work." They reply, "Oh, just come for a bit." You didn't set a boundary. You started a negotiation. So instead, we use the power of the period. "I can't make it on Friday." Period. "No. Thank you." Period. Nothing else. When you do this, something uncomfortable happens. Silence. And your anxiety will scream at you to fill it, to soften, to rescue, to explain. Don't. That silence is not awkward. It's authority forming. It's your nervous system learning that you can survive disapproval. And something interesting happens when you practice this. The people who only valued you for what you give start pulling away, and the people who respect you stay. Because boundaries don't push the right people away. They filter. Your no is not an attack. It's a declaration. Your existence does not require justification. Your energy is finite. And protecting it isn't selfish. It's intelligence. Once you stop explaining, something shifts inside you. You stop performing. You stop managing reactions. You stop living like every interaction is a test. And that's when you're ready for the next level. Silence. Not empty silence. Strategic silence. The kind that gives you control without saying a word. If you want to understand why the quietest person in the room often holds the most power, click the next video. I'll show you how to stop being the performer and start being the observer. I'll see you there.